Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're digging into a whole stack of source material reviews, excerpts, leaks, all buzzing about the rumored iPhone 17. Our mission really is to figure out, are we looking at genuine qualitative leaps this time, or is it more like the usual yearly tweaks?
Well, the first thing that jumps out from pretty much all the sources we looked at is this feeling that Apple's making a bigger strategic move here. It seems like it's more than just incremental updates. The main theme seems to be bringing those, you know, advanced, previously Pro-only features down to the regular iPhone 17.
Right, democratizing the tech, basically.
Mhm.
Which means if you usually buy the standard iPhone, the 17 could feel like a massive jump forward. Okay, let's unpack this. And the best place to start is probably the physical stuff, the design, and definitely the display. The reviews mention new beauty and boldness, but let's get practical. What's the single biggest functional change for someone picking up that base model?
It's got to be the screen technology. The biggest rumor, the one everyone's highlighting, is promotion the 120 hertz refresh rate finally coming to the standard iPhone. This has always been, a key reason to go pro. For you listening, 120 hertz means the screen updates twice as fast as the usual 60 hertz.
Yeah, and I know some people might think, so what, scrolling looks a bit smoother? But honestly, once you've used a 120 hertz display, whether you're just flicking through websites or especially in games, that fluidity, it makes everything feel way more responsive. It's hard to go back.
Exactly. It's not just smoother, it reduces motion blur, makes interactions feel immediate, and they seem to be backing this up with better durability, too. The sources talk about a new Ceramic Shield 2 layer. The first one was tough, sure, but this version supposedly offers much better scratch resistance, which is probably what people worry about day to day, plus better shadow protection overall.
That's good news. And I saw something about dealing with glare. Trying to use your phone in bright sunlight can be a nightmare. The reports mention an added anti-reflective coating. That sounds like a small thing, but practically speaking, it could make a huge difference outdoors.
It really could. It's a practical touch. And speaking of practicalities, there's the size. Rumors suggest a slight bump to 6.3 inches for the screen. But crucially, they're apparently achieving this by shrinking the bezels even more, so you get more screen real estate without the phone itself feeling significantly bigger in your hand. It's a smarter use of space.
Okay, so a smoother, slightly bigger, tougher, less reflective display. That all sounds great, but those features need power. Which brings us nicely to the engine inside. Here's where it gets really interesting. Because underpinning all this is the new A19 chip, right? It needs to be powerful and efficient.
Absolutely. The sources describe the A19 as offering superb power built on the latest chip manufacturing tech. So yes, it's faster, but maybe more importantly, it's way more power efficient. That efficiency is almost certainly necessary to run a 120 hertz display on a standard model without, destroying battery life. It's all connected.
But it's not just about raw speed this time, is it? The reports really hammer home the idea that the A19 is built for artificial intelligence, like that's its main job.
That seems to be the core strategy, yes. Positioning the iPhone 17 not just as a phone, but as this incredibly powerful smart platform. The A19 is apparently designed specifically for on-device AI. We're talking things like instant photo and video editing locally without the cloud, much smarter interactions with Siri, maybe better context awareness, and boosting features like live translation in real time.
That on-device focus is interesting. It means faster results, probably better privacy too, and less need for a constant, super-fast internet connection for some of these smart features. But doing all that heavy lifting locally, that needs memory, right? And I have to ask, the rumors say 8 GB of RAM for the base model. Isn't that still kind of low compared to some Android phones pushing 12 GB or even 16 GB?
That's a fair point, and it often comes up, but you have to remember Apple's optimization. For iOS, 8 GB is actually a pretty big jump for the base model it's the first time. The thinking, according to the sources, is that this 8 GB, combined with the A19, is specifically what's needed to handle multiple AI tasks smoothly, keep more apps running in the background, and generally make multitasking feel, seamless. It's about their whole ecosystem working together.
Okay, fair enough. That RAM bump is definitely significant for the standard iPhone line.
Let's pivot now to cameras. If you care about photos and video, the sources suggest this is potentially a huge upgrade year. Oh, definitely. And let's start with the front camera, the selfie camera. It's felt a bit neglected for a while, maybe. The rumors strongly point to a hardware boost there, finally. potentially up to an 18-megapixel sensor for the base model.
And not just more megapixels, they're apparently bringing over center stage from the iPad. That feature is fantastic.
It really is a game changer for video calls. For anyone listening who hasn't used it, Center Stage uses the camera's wide view and then intelligently pans and zooms to keep you or everyone in the shot centered. Even if you move around, think about FaceTime calls, work video conferences, even creators making videos. It just makes you look more professional, keeps you framed perfectly, all automatically. It's brilliant.
Yeah, that alone could be a major selling point for a lot of people. Okay, turning around to the back, the main rear cameras. The report suggests the Base 17 keeps a high-res 48-megapixel main sensor, which is great. But the real kicker seems to be the ultra-wide lens getting a massive upgrade too, to 48 megapixels.
That's the rumor, yes. A dual 48MP setup. And think about what that means for your wide-angle shots. Historically, the ultra-wide on the standard iPhones hasn't been amazing, especially in lower light. Bumping that sensor up to 48 megapixels should mean a huge improvement in detail and quality for those sweeping landscape shots or photos in tight spaces. Particularly, yeah, when the light isn't perfect.
Right, it could get rid of that slightly soft, mushy look you sometimes get with ultra-wide shots now. Okay, last big area. Battery life and charging, always
Yeah.
critical. We mentioned the A19 chip is more efficient, so logically, battery life should be better than the iPhone 16, or at least hold its own with the new display.
Yes, longer life is expected, but what's maybe even more exciting on the power front is the charging speed. The sources are consistently pointing towards support for up to 40W wired fast charging.
40 watts. Wow. Okay, put that into context for someone using, say, an iPhone 15 or 16 base model now. They're probably used to speeds closer to 20-something watts, right?
Exactly. So doubling that speed to 40W could make a really noticeable difference in daily use. It means less time tethered to the wall. We're potentially talking about getting back to 50% charge in, I don't know, maybe under 20 minutes. That quick top-up before you head out the door suddenly becomes much more effective. It's a big quality of life improvement.
Definitely. And just quickly, on the topic of speed, connectivity Wi-Fi 7 is expected too. That feels a bit like future-proofing, maybe.
It is future-proofing, but it's important future-proofing. Wi-Fi 7 isn't just about faster peak speeds, though it offers that. It's also about lower latency, handling more devices reliably on one network. So as things like high-fidelity game streaming, AR, maybe 8K video become more common, the iPhone 17 will be ready for it. It ensures the phone won't be the bottleneck down the line.
Okay, so if we connect this to the bigger picture, all the sources seem to agree on this, the iPhone 17 feels like a really compelling package, mainly because it breaks that pattern of keeping the coolest stuff for the Pro models.
That's the core narrative, yeah, this idea of democratization. You're potentially getting the 120 hertz display, the 8 GB RAM, that improved dual 48MP camera system, and the much faster 40W charging, all on the standard model. These aren't just small tweaks, they're features that genuinely change how the phone feels to use every day.
So what does this all mean for you? Well, it could mean that for a lot of people, maybe for the first time in a while, you might not need to stretch for the Pro model to get a truly significant upgrade. The combination of that efficient A19 chip, the better display, the practical design touches like the anti-glare coating, and that super fast charging, it all adds up to a potentially much better daily experience.
And maybe that leaves us to our final thought for you to chew on. We talked a lot about the A19 chip and its focus on doing AI on the device, processing photos instantly, making Siri smarter locally, handling translations without the cloud. It raises a really interesting question. Is the most revolutionary thing about the iPhone 17 actually what it doesn't need the cloud for? This push towards decentralized instant intelligence, that might be the deeper shift happening here. Something to mull over until our next deep dive.